Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Drew, and I want to welcome you back to Learn How to See Better. It's the only podcast out there that will improve your vision the longer you listen. Today, I want to talk about the underdog. The underdog. The underdog. Why do we all love the underdog? Why do we cheer for the underdog? We root for the underdog. We love the underdog. We want to see the underdog get their chance to win. But the question is, do you view yourself as the underdog? Do you view yourself as the competitive with the upper hand? How do you view yourself? And if you view yourself as the underdog, do you root for yourself the same way you do for the underdog in the movie or on the field or in the fight? I think it's a fair question to ask, right? It's the fourth quarter of 2020. A lot of the mindset that I've been on is trying to encourage people to get from this year. Many people are trying to just get through this year, but it's our outlook on life that really helps to indicate the future that we're going to have. So if we start to look at a more positive future, that's what we have to look forward to, right? As opposed to, some sort of dismal reality that's something that you really don't want to experience whatsoever. So as you get this attitude, as you get this swagger, as you develop the mentality of I'm in it to win it, Q4 2020, and you're going for it, it's fair to say that there may be some underdogs listening right now. And to recognize if you associate yourself with the underdog, you feel like you're at the underdog status, or you feel like the goals you set for yourself or the score that you're attempting to attain, you're not quite there yet with the points, the stats, whatever it may be that you're tracking. But it's important to look at the underdog as a symbol of hope, symbol of, what's possible. And thinking of all the instances, or at least a few of the popular ones, when we look at the underdog in different times we've seen in life, and how so often we can get behind a cause of cheering for someone else, but how often will we get on that high horse and root for ourselves, to shake those pom-poms for our own benefit, right? I mean, I think back to, when I first saw the classic Rocky series, Rocky Balboa, the infamous, tough Philly boxer that scraps his way up to the top. And along the way, he meets these big, brutal opponents that constantly have him beaten into the canvas, whether it's, Clubber Lang or Apollo Creed or Ivan Drago. I mean, the list goes on. And there's always the image of us looking at Rocky Balboa laying beaten, bloody, and bruised on the canvas. Just it was stars flying around his head, looking up at the rafter lights. And what do we all recall in those moments of defeat? In those moments of defeat, why we cheer from the underdog is we recognize what happens to the underdog in that moment of defeat, that sense of defeat. They actually have this moment of clarity. In this sense, it got some sense knocked into them, or the sense knocked out of them. But in any instance, it's a moment of clarity. And in that moment of clarity, what the star character, the hero of the story on the journey allows themselves to do, or manages to actually do, is separate themselves from the situation. It's as though the spirit within Rocky left the canvas and was able to connect. And you hear him, Adrian, right? The rally cry. And with that, the separation from the current circumstances, and reflecting back on, what are you even doing in this fight to begin with? Why are we trying to get to where we're going? How do we get here? Right? Sometimes that separation from the situation can allow you to recalibrate and get dialed in on that North Star, that lighthouse, to get, set back onto the right track, because it's the set of the sail that makes all the difference. And what do we know historically from the story? As if out of nowhere, Rocky Balboa is charged up, gets up on like the 8 count. There are no TKOs anymore. And he comes back to an amazing victory. And it's like the guy's unstoppable. He's able to recharge himself from that time out from the battle, to recognize what was really what, and how he could tap into his own secret power and accomplish great things. And when we look at the spirit of that underdog, why do we not recognize that we've got that same capacity within us? We have that same capacity to reframe what's going on in our world and actually look at it through different circumstances, through different lenses, different perceptional filters, and then start to see, hey, yeah, remember, why am I here? How did I get here? What's the purpose? What's the goal? What am I looking to achieve? And it's right back to the be, do, have of it. And so when I think of the underdog, when I think of all of us, when I think of you, when I think of me, when I think of underdogs in general, it's one of those things you want to almost dissect at a time like this and say, well, what was that formula? How did that hero overcome and get themselves into position to be triumphant once again? And it's that separation, that stop and reflect and project and get recalibrated. Understand why you're in the fight to begin with. Because at the end of the day, you guys have all heard the age-old adage. It's not about the size of the dog in the fight. It's about the size of the fight and the dog. But sometimes even the dog needs a TV timeout. Take a quick 20 to figure out what's going on. Get recalibrated at halftime, right? Take that 7th inning stretch. Do what you need to do to get that quick timeout and get back into it. Because as another saying goes, you don't fail until you quit. So if you never quit, then you never fail. And that's at least an attitude you want to be able to harness, right? As we look to the new year and as we look to the type of outcomes we want to have in life in general and how we can start to structure those with a little bit more planning. How can we take from our experiences that we've picked up this year and channel all of that know-how into 2021? That's what's fascinating to me, to step back and look at that. And that's how I see underdogs get created. They're able to step back, take the time out, reflect and project. And with that, they're able to do amazing things. So I thought I'd leave you with that gem of experience and observation that I've gone through and why I think that's part of that magic firepower that the underdogs always got. And I encourage you to look at situations in your life where you felt like you've been down a couple of points, a couple touchdowns. You've been short on time. You just didn't have the resources that you need to complete the task. But one way, somehow, maybe a little luck, maybe a little prayer, maybe a little good timing, maybe just some good old-fashioned perseverance and dedication to what you're looking to achieve was some of what pulled you through. But it's good to take a look at those other instances where you've impressed yourself and when you thought even the odds were stacked against you and you managed to make a turnaround. Who's to say you can't apply that at any time in your life? So that's the motivational message for today, to root for that underdog, to understand the underdog and tap into that secret sauce, that secret firepower that they've got that helped them propel through to victory, even when the outcome looked very bleak. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Be sure to tag a friend for all you underdogs out there and share it with a champ, because even the best champions out there know what it's like to be an underdog at some point, because all experts were once beginners. Until next time, thank you guys for tuning in. This is your host, Drew Davis, signing off, and I'll catch you on the next episode of Learn How to See Better, the only podcast out there that'll improve your vision the longer you listen. Thanks.